seconds away on this Studio 5 special. We're sitting down with gospel music's golden couple, talking life, love, and staying power with David and Tamela Mann. And welcome to Studio 5. We've traveled to Dallas, Texas this week to sit down with recording artist Tamela Mann and her husband David. Perhaps you remember him from Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns. Well, they've got a special announcement they're sharing exclusively with Studio 5. We're going to get to that in just a bit. But first, let's begin as we do every week, counting down the 5 best headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment news. Here are the first 2. At number 5.
Harvey pummeled East Texas for days, inundating Houston and leaving $125 billion in damage, making it the costliest storm in U.S. history.
A year later, that costly storm is giving birth to inspiring stories, like the one behind this photo of fashion designer CHAPMAN in prayer with models. CHAPMAN lost everything in the storm, including sewing machines and other tools of his fashion trade.
As I opened my door, water gushed in, almost knocking me down. I had to fight my way through the water.
His survival gave birth to his latest line. It's the Survivor Collection, inspired by last year's devastating storm.
It's where I put my passion. If anything negative, I try to channel it and put it into my passion and turn it into something positive.
At number 4.
Do you see all those empty seats around you? Those are missing brothers and sisters.
It's your Studio 5 first look at the film God Bless the Broken Road.
Love calls us to bring them home.
Directed by filmmaker Harold Crunk, it stars Robin Givens, Jordan Sparks, and LaDainian Tomlinson in the story of a young mother who loses her husband to war in Afghanistan.
We know you're still hurting. It's times like these you really need to lean on your faith.
I don't understand why he would do that to us. If he wants me, he knows where to find me.
This film is in American theaters September 7th. And those are just the first 2 in this week's countdown. We're going to get to the rest in just a bit. We've traveled to Dallas, Texas this week to sit down with David and Tamela Mann. They've got a special announcement they're sharing exclusively with Studio 5. That's why they are this week's Studio 5 interview.
It's hard to say when there's no food to eat.
Tamela Mann is famous for that sweet and powerful voice. It's earned her Grammy Gold. But the gospel recording artist also graces magazine covers for her longtime marriage to fellow singer and actor David Mann.
I love photo shoots, especially for a magazine like Upscale that's so family-centered. I'm really honored that they want to do a piece on our family.
Are you sure they got the right family?
It's a happy family life they've shared on the hit reality series, The Manns. Now, you've been married 30 years. You're both here and still in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Take us back to the very beginning. When did you meet? How old were you? What happened?
When we first met, we were 18.
Okay.
We were like 18 when we first met. Actually, my best friend introduced us. See, we were best friends like from church and we grew up together. Then she went to high school with David.
Let me just add, at the time, we were a pretty big deal on campus.
Yes, because
there was 3 of us.
It was some guys that sang, and my best friend had chorus class with them. She was like, y'all sing real good, but I know someone who could out-sing you guys.
Yeah.
So she brought me to school.
And you guys, this is how far back we go with these guys. It was myself and Kirk Franklin and Daryl Blair,
which is our pastor now.
In high school. Yeah, we go back that far.
So it's like over 30 years.
So we all thought we were the stuff because we were singing around town and the ladies just be, oh, y'all sing so good.
And so Nicole was like, no, y'all sing pretty good, so let's see. So
they brought her to sing, blew us away.
I just sang, and I can't even remember what I sung.
That developed into a friendship. We were strictly just friends. No, I had other people.
You was about to say no hanky-panky.
No hanky-panky. I had other people on the side, so I couldn't, at the time, I was involved in something. And we were just strictly friends. We were really good friends, and that is what our whole relationship is based on. It was built on our friendship for each other and our understanding and our love as friends for each other. And that's how we fell in love.
Right.
Look how she's looking at me.
Now, who loved first?
Who loved first?
Who fell first?
You know,
Whatever. It probably was me, but he didn't know it. And I wouldn't say it.
I knew it. What you talking about?
No,
I knew it.
Well, I mean, but
you know when a lady in love with you.
And he was hanging around. He was, you know,
well, that's
spending a lot
we
of
were
time
spending.
with me. So I felt like, okay, it's something mutual here. You know, there's some feelings, but I'm not gonna say.
We were spending 10 hours a day together just as friends. And so I knew she was, you know, I'd see the way she looked at me and say, "You're so funny, you're so cute."
Oh my God, please. Next question.
The Manns have come a long way since those early years, and they're celebrating, writing their first book, Us Against the World, Our Secrets to Love, Marriage, and Family.
So, you decide to write a book after 30 years of marriage. What is it that happened that inspired you to do it?
We love people and people are always around us. So that kind of pushed us and motivated us over the years, but we kept pushing it off. But the Lord kept pressing and me really too in my spirit. And I tell David, I said, it's something that we have to do to encourage families to, even though, and we're a super blended family. So we just wanted to share some of our stories and some of our experiences with others to kind of help them with their lives, their day-to-day lives.
We would often get younger couples or even older couples say, well, how do you do this and what do you do this? Even couples in the industry. So we were like, you know, we got to start writing some of this stuff down. So we compiled books and notes and notebooks of notes, and we sit down and just say, look, we got to put this book together. So here we are, Us Against the World, Our Secrets to Love, Marriage, and Family.
How would you say you mastered the secrets? Was it trial and error? What happened?
I would say trial and error. I mean, it's just like a job. You know, you have to work at it. Marriage, you have to work at it, the relationship, because, you know, divorce was not an option for us. We took that off the table. So whatever came, we decided that we were gonna work through it. And that's what we've done.
And we tell everybody, you know, you say it's a work in progress.
Yes.
We haven't discovered the master secret to all of this. What we tell everybody, we don't have a perfect marriage. What we have is a marriage that's a work in progress.
We're not trying to paint a perfect picture here. There's no perfect couple because everybody have disagreements. And we want to talk about some disagreements and just how we handle some of the disagreements that we have.
We do talk about some of our lows, but we talk about a lot of our highs, and we share a little bit of my practical joke stir. Can I call it my practical joke stir?
I like
in here.
that.
Yeah, and
which he had a lot of practical jokes.
Some people will be like, he's so mean. I'm not mean, I'm just a practical joker.
He really is. And I mean, but that's one thing that I loved about him when I met him, even as we were teenagers when we met, that he always made me laugh, and he was always joking with everybody around him. So I know it wasn't personal, but I used to always tell him, boy, somebody gonna
get you.
Somebody gonna beat you up. You better stop messing with people.
You guys not only are married and have a family, but work together from Meet the Browns to Kirk Franklin and the Family.
I'm Leroy Brown. Hi. My friends call me Leroy Brown. You can just call me Leroy Brown? Yeah, how you know?
But you know, that was always my prayer.
Really?
That was my prayer as a young girl, that I would have someone that did the same things that I did, so I wouldn't have to explain all the time, especially because first it was music for us. So I wanted someone who sang and was interested in church and music, because that's what my first love is, singing, my passion. And the Lord blessed me with someone who loved what I love. So we've really built, you know, together. And then it went from, you know, the singing to the acting, which the acting is what he loves.
A lot of people ask, how do you juggle this? How do you give it equal weight and balance it? And I tell everybody, I never give my marriage the same weight and balance. I never try to balance it with anything else. It far outweighs anything else I'll ever do. Whether it comes to work, the career, kids, anything. This is my first ministry. And I never try to balance anything against her. So I tell people, I was like, look, if this business ever gets in the way of this, we'll disappear.
It's the Lord first and then him.
And that's why we came up with the title, Us Against the World, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be us. The kids are gone, we're empty nesters, and guess who is left?
Us. and we're having fun, and we're enjoying it.
After 30 years, are you still learning new things about each other?
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you guys, which is not talked about a lot, is like the menopause thing.
Oh, help me, Lord.
So it's new and fresh for us, but it is different. But it's different for me as a woman to even kind of, because I'm like, what is going on with myself? So even with dealing with myself and then dealing with him, it can be, and I kind of understand now why some marriages that I thought should stay together, reason why they do kind of quit.
Because they didn't recognize it. See, I recognized it early.
What it is, yes.
I did.
And to kind of deal with that together, or somebody not having enough patience with each other to deal with it.
Just one of many marriage and family lessons the Manns are opening up to share. And to learn when and where you can snag a copy of David and Tamela Mann's book, be sure to check out their website. It's right there on your screen. Still ahead on this Studio 5 special.
Okay, you ready, David? I have some questions for you. I want true answers.
The Manns take over the interview.
What can you prepare better than me, your wife?
With questions for each other.
I wish David would stop.
The fun answers when we return. And welcome back to Studio 5. This week we're in Dallas, Texas, counting down the best headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment news. Here are the next two. At number 3.
So a mattress, a plant even you can't kill, and something to get your bar situation started.
Just as HBO begins the newest season of its hit series Insecure,
I'm so excited to get started. I thought these boxes were going into storage.
Your office is the storage.
Actress Yvonne Orji is sharing more of her faith and revealing how the Holy Spirit and Scripture helped her to overcome depression at a time when she was so broke, she didn't even have enough money to go to church.
I don't subscribe to fear, because what is fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real. That's all that is. It's not real. I believe in faith.
And she's sharing that faith with fellow Nigerian writer Lovey Ajayi in their podcast, Jesus and Jolliffe. At number 2. That's filmmaker Chris Weitz at work directing Operation Finale. This story follows Jewish Nazi hunters set out to find and capture a former SS officer.
We have our guy. It's Adolf Eichmann.
Let's go.
This is a country full of ex-Nazis. They're all over the city. Start the engine.
Operation Finale is in American theaters August 29th.
I'm offering you a fair trial. You want me to stand trial in place of an entire regime.
And with that, there is only one more remaining headline in the countdown. We'll get to that a little later in the show. We are in Dallas, Texas this week. This is home to David and Tamela Mann. They are celebrating 30 years of marriage, so certainly they know a lot about each other. So we thought, why not have them interview each other? Let's continue the Studio 5 interview.
Okay, you ready, David? I have some questions for you. I want true answers.
Okay, maybe.
Now, what can you prepare better than me, your wife?
You know the answer to that. I can barbecue a lot better than you ever could. My question for you.
Okay.
What is the best gift I ever gave you, and what is the worst? You won't?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the worst. The worst was he gave...
You can't say the name of this.
Oh, with some perfume.
She looked at it, opened it like this. Who is this?
What?
Devastating.
I wasn't into like names and all that.
What's the best?
The best gift is when we had our first house built and he put all the his handwork in with wiring the house and making my first dream come true of owning our first house.
Oh, that's so sweet. Your question.
If you could repeat one family vacation, what would it be?
It'd probably be the Disney World trip, or would it be the South Padre Island trip? One of those two I would want to repeat. Finish the statement. I wish David would stop
leaving his shoes everywhere.
All the good stuff I've done for you, and that's what you're gonna say to me?
Help me, Lord. Okay, in our 30 years of marriage, what mistake have you made that you would blame on the kids?
This goes back to one of those trips One time, I didn't realize she had a bad attitude on the little drive we decided to make. And it was like, I'm just thinking I'm doing everybody a favor by bringing the kids. So I bring the kids and I discover I didn't want the kids to go.
I say, are you sure you want the kids to go? You kept saying,
yes.
But I kept asking it, so that would...
You should have asked yourself if you were sure you wanted the kids to go.
I already knew I didn't.
What do you remember most about our wedding day, your favorite memory?
The thing is, we got married twice. We exchanged our vows after church, but our actual wedding is when I was walking down the aisle and you seen my dress.
But see,
walking down the
she
aisle.
was walking down the aisle and I just seen the dress. It was beautiful. She was supposed to like take her time and glide down the aisle. Why was she sprinting? The song was supposed to take, literally we timed it out. By the time you get here, the song will be ending. She sprinted down and we had to wait for the song. We just standing like this song.
But we was crying.
Well, you didn't have to run.
I didn't run, but I did walk pretty fast. My next question. If you had to move away from Texas, where would you go and why?
Either Nashville or Atlanta, because they just remind me so much of home. We both a little country, so we got to stay in the country.
And we still rock and roll.
Okay, what do you miss most about our family tour?
What I really enjoyed the most is it was ours. It was ours. It was something that you put together, that we labored together, and all of us together to have. What you about to say, silly?
Nothing.
See, this jokester's coming out. What's my question? I just did. Yeah. I did. Oh, you did. Okay. If you could go back in time and give young Tamela advice, what would you say? Oh, I like that.
I would just let her know, hey, it's gonna be all right. I got you. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. So if you could give young David advice, you go back in time and give young David advice, what advice would you give him?
He could be more touchy-feely, which he is now. I mean, you weren't very, it's affectionate. Like affectionate. These were good.
They were real good.
Give him kisses.
That's David and Tamela Mann. You really have certainly got to love them. And here's the good news, there's more to come. Up next on this Studio 5 special. Hear and see why the Manns are playing in my ear. And welcome back to Studio 5. We are in Dallas, Texas this week, and we have reached the #1 headline in our look at the best in the world of uplifting entertainment news. At #1, big dreams come true.
Guess what? It happened today. You're getting a heart. Congratulations! I'm getting a heart, Mom!
For Sophia Sanchez, who underwent a successful heart transplant Monday, just 1 week after another big dream came true.
The 11-year-old heart patient recorded a video and asked to meet the artist while he was in Chicago, and it went viral. Drake answering the call to Sophia's big surprise.
Sophia's favorite Grammy Award-winning rap star paid her a visit.
Oh my God!
You asked me to come, I'm here.
So I'm in the Laurie Children's Hospital, and look who came to surprise me.
Just for you, my dear.
Now that's a perfect picture. Well, that wraps this week's countdown and brings us to the next part of our story, our conversation with David and Tamela Mann. Tamela Mann's music is certainly just as inspirational as her marriage. So that is why her music is what's playing in my ear.
Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering.
Tamela Mann's voice is unmistakable.
Change me, oh God. Make me more.
And she's not alone.
Hold on, my brother. Your change is gonna come.
As true fans know, her husband David Mann can hold his own. And singing is where their staying power love story began.
Were you a hairstylist at one point?
I was a hairstylist for 10 years.
Okay, because I remember reading something, I don't know where I saw it, but you were working. The lights were cut off at home.
Yeah.
That's
true.
So what happened?
This was like what happened is one night we were at his mom's house and we came home and the lights were off.
Dead of winter, cold.
It was really cold. Our son was just a few months old, and we walked in and he, you know how you always hit the switch when you come in the house. We was in an apartment.
And it switch on, but why when you switch the lights on, you know you haven't paid the bill, but you go outside and look. See if everybody else lights off, just trying to make sure you're not the only one.
So he looks out and he comes back in so disgusted. He was like, oh my God. He's like, the lights is off.
I really beat myself up.
He was really upset with himself. And I was like, we could either go stay the night at your mom's or we can just stay here. I said, it's nighttime. The lights are gonna be off anyway. So I wrapped the baby up in like several blankets to make sure he stayed warm, put him in the bed, and then I went and took a shower. Took a shower in the dark, came back and got in the bed, and we had the baby in the middle of us to make sure we all was warm.
She could have taken.
And it was fine.
She could have taken that time to say, "You are a sorry individual. You can't even afford a light bill." But she took that time to build me up, and just literally like, "It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. It'll be all right."
Yes.
And from that day forward, I knew this is ride or die. If she's building me up like this, when I have her in the dark, think about when I'm able to put her in a place. As you can see, I have lights everywhere. That's because of that situation.
And Tamela Mann has a Grammy and a few stellar awards on her shelf. Her latest project is called One Way.
And still to come on this Studio 5 special.
Who knew it could be so exhausting being so fabulous?
The secret to the man's success in business.
And welcome back to Studio 5. We are just about out of time for our special edition of the show, coming to you all the way from Dallas, Texas. So, as for the final word for this show, I'm giving that to none other than David and Tamela Mann. They are successful in marriage and in business, and they have some advice for you on how you can succeed.
We don't do business with people. We want to do relationship with people. A lot of people want to do business, and we have a tough time. I can't say that every transaction has been relationship. Some of it is do business and go home. And it's hard for us to do that. That's why we are who we are, like we are with our marriage, is because we love relationship. I love having relation with you. Oh, relationship. Relationships. My bad. I get mixed up. I'm sorry. I'm back.
So sorry.
So as you see, they don't just do business, they do relationships. That is a great word and a great final word for this edition of Studio 5. Until next time, reach out and touch me at Ephraim Graham on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And then you be sure to come right back here and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.